All right, Hotep, Hotep, Mata and Makaru, I'm in here. And we're just going to give it a few minutes here and let people join in. All right, greetings, welcome. So what we're doing here is we are talking about our upcoming mini course. We're calling it, this is our woke course series. We're talking about beginning and maintaining your spiritual journey. And so in this course, we cover three things in particular and some more stuff. Basically, the first thing is what well, one of the things, I don't know the order, but what to do with your spiritual gifts, because this is a question that we get all of the time. Like, some people might be empaths, they might be clairvoyant or whatever, and they don't really know how to control that spiritual gift, and what's the purpose of it. Why do you have it? Why can you see into the future? Why do you see ancestors? Why do you see auras? And or why are you able to tap into somebody else's thoughts? Okay, what is the purpose of that? Then we're going to talk about some post-traumatic stress and slave syndromes, and how to some upgraded ways to deal with that. Okay, and then getting the insanity out of yourselves. And so that's really the main thing here that we're going to be talking about, because before you begin any journey, spiritual journey, or if you want to maintain what you already have, you will find that you had to circle back around and get rid of some stuff. So we really dig into dealing with the subconscious and how to pull those things out. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, briefly, we're going to give you a little sneak peek into some of the things that we're going to be covering. And in particular, are you operating on pain, pleasure, or purpose? And I love this subject because let's talk about pain. Okay, this is probably the most familiar because we've probably all had some sort of trauma in our lives, either from childhood or something that we experienced early on in life. And that keeps coming up for us, even as adults, even into your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. You may still be operating off of something that happened to you when you were a child. It just shows up in a different way. And so every experience you have, because you think about some of the statements you make. Well, people are always doing this to me, or people see me this way, or it's not necessarily people that see you this way, it's how you are. Okay, you're carrying that everywhere you go. Okay, so it's this pain body that you're carrying around, and so we help you to identify that. Okay, pleasure. Let's talk about pleasure. Okay, a lot of us operate off of pleasure too. Okay, and it can also be traumatic. It's traumatic. Some people, like when you get so-called woke, conscious, spiritual, enlightened, all of these terms that we use. What's some of the things that we say about people when they come to us and they okay, say you have to engage somebody on something that they may have done to you, or maybe you don't like the way they said something or whatever, and so they say, hey, well, you bringing all this negative energy. You negative because you're talking about something that is unpleasant. Okay, it's not pleasant to talk to people about money that they owe you. It's not pleasant to talk to somebody about maybe they stepped over the line with you. Okay, and so these things are not pleasant. So if they are not able to operate in pleasure, then they don't want to talk about anything else. It's traumatic to talk about something that is so-called negative. Okay. And so this is another way that we operate. Now, how do you know if you're operating on purpose? Okay. And this is the tricky one. This is the tricky one. One of the main ways to tell is that you will forego pain or pleasure. Okay, you will ask. Now, sometimes, when you want to do something, it's as simple as like, how sometimes you want to, you're not supposed to be eating something, right? But you're going to eat it anyway. You're not going to ask if that's on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing that we do sometimes with our attitudes about certain things. If somebody comes at you a certain way, that's the biggest one. Okay, you automatically go to that default reaction. You don't ask, and sometimes you go to that default reaction, and then sometimes you even make decisions off of that default reaction. We call those fake feelings. Okay, and fake feelings lead to deceptive decisions. Okay, and so sometimes you'll make a deceptive decision. You won't ask if that decision is on purpose. Now, why am I saying this? Because I've done it plenty of times. And so what we're doing in this course is really, we've kind of taken a survey of folks who have been on their spiritual journey, some of the elders, some people like myself or whatever, and we're putting this together and saying, hey, what would you do differently if you had to just tell somebody fresh out the box? They say, hey, I'm just waking up to this and I want to know, about, being woke and awake and enlightened and, whatever. What would you tell them to do? And so when I asked these questions, these are some of the things that came up. Okay, we would do some things differently. Okay, we would not just dive in and start putting up altars and doing all of this stuff. First, we get the insanity out of ourselves. Why? So we can be a clear channel, so we can be a sacred vessel for these things, instead of thinking that we can come and bring our subconscious into this and really get clear and concise results. Because if you've been at this for a while, what is that as you go down the road, you can see, as you start clearing out these things, when you start clearing out the subconscious mind, your channel is clear. You get clear message, you get clear visions. You're able to control those gifts. Okay, you're able to streamline them. You actually find out what the purpose of you having these are. Being an empath is not just for you to be crazy and you got to lock yourself in a house. You can't be around a bunch of people. Well, you have that gift for a reason. But you have a gift of being able to see energy, see ancestors and all that. It's on purpose. And so sometimes, and most of the time, in most cases, we are not operating on purpose. We're operating out of two areas, pain and pleasure. Okay, pain is those traumas. So everything, a lot of things you might steer away from certain things because it's traumatic. Okay, you may only operate on pleasure because you don't want to deal with painful things. You don't want to go down to your core and pull out what's really the problem. Okay, a lot of people don't want to do that. They say, oh, you negative, and I'm so holistic, and I just stay in the light, and I do all these things that we say, and we know. I'm talking about me first because I've done it. Okay, thinking that being woke, awake, enlightened, whole, or whatever, all these terms that we use for whatever we are spiritual, is that you don't never have to get gully. You don't never have to go down and do some of the things, have arguments, okay, with people. You don't ever have to discuss anything that's unpleasant. That's just not the case. That's not what it means. Okay, but that is that thing about operating only off of pleasure. It's because it's the baseline of both operating out of pain and operating out of pleasure is the same thing. It's a trauma. You're avoiding a trauma, or you have given into the trauma, but it's still the same thing, because sometimes you don't take time to ask about whether or not it's on purpose. And when you operate in purpose, you have different experiences. As a matter of fact, once you start operating on purpose, you may just stop at a certain point and start and calibrate yourself. Okay, and start getting rid of certain experience. You'll realize I'm just keep going in this same cycle over and over and over again. And the people change, the name changes, but I'm still the same. Okay, and so you stop trying to find what's going to save you. You stop trying to read the books and do research and get certificates and all these different things, and you stay with yourself because you want to be on purpose, and you calibrate your purpose. Okay, so this is what we're going to be talking about in our upcoming course. It's on January 6th. It's on, let me see, I can put I don't think any of my folks are on here yet. But I'm going to put the link in here. Okay, did it go? Okay. And so, okay, I don't know what happened there. It's not, okay, there it is. Okay, it's a hot link. Okay, and so that's what we're doing. And actually, when you go to that registration link, there is a questionnaire for you to fill out, because we're really serious about this. One of the reasons that we're really serious about this is because, I mean, you guys see what's happening. You see that we're on a cycle with the melanin dominant population here. Okay, we got to upgrade. We got to move to that next level. Okay, so we can't keep cycling around with 3 basic things. Okay, relationships, health, and money. Okay, we have to transcend these things and go to this next level. Okay, because if we don't, we're going to keep cycling around in these things, and we're going to keep finding that that we are still under oppression and suppression and all the pressing. Okay, when really, if you melanin dominant, you really know what that melanin is doing. And I'm not saying that I know everything about it, okay, but it is something that gives you an advantage, okay, in any situation. And I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about mentally, and I'm talking about spiritually. Okay, and we are not able to learn really how to use it and to operate in it until we start getting rid of the subconscious. Okay, all of these things, all of these traumas that cause us to just operate out of pain and pleasure. When we start operating on purpose, you find out what your purpose is, and some of this stuff just gets shut down. It doesn't happen around you. It doesn't happen around your children. It don't happen around the people around you. And so if each one of us take on this same attitude, then boom, it's shut down. Okay, we're not having these experiences no more. So we got to get this upgrade. And so we're really serious about this. And that's why, we did the research. We asked, some of the elders, we asked some of the people that have been on this journey, how would you do it again? What would you change? And so we put it together for you in a course. So, that is my spiel. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I see Mama Dimple's on here. It was nice seeing you the other day. Kofi, nice to see you again. And I know mine is it's a little slow when we as we go through here. Are there any questions? Okay, and if you are at all interested, you want to go ahead and go to the link there. You can find it there. You can also find us here at Melanated Immortals. The course starts on January 6th. Okay, so that's about what, a week and a half. All right. And then we also, if you go to the Melanated Immortals website, you will also see that we have another course that actually starts on December 26th. Okay, and it is making peace with your parents. Okay, and this helps you with some of this pain and pleasure. Okay, so you definitely want to check out some of the things that we're doing. And I thank you for watching. I thank you for listening. If you know anybody who's interested, please pass it on. Join the email list. And we'll see you on the next one. Unless I have any questions or comments, I'll check the chat here. And if not, I'm going to sign off. And it has been my honor and my pleasure. Hotep.